This week is a special week as we get ready for Easter. And one way to get ready for Easter is to start at the beginning. God's beautiful world had been spoilt. People were selfish and mean. And so God decided to make a new beginning. In this new beginning, a baby was born. Mary was chosen to be the mother of this baby, and the Word of God was born as a wordless child. And as this baby looked into the face of Mary and into the face of Joseph, the cross was already there. And the baby grew up. And when he was a boy of about 12 years old, he went to the temple in Jerusalem to worship. And when they came to come home, Mary and Joseph realised that Jesus was not with them. They hurried back to look for him, and eventually they found him in the temple, talking to the leaders and the elders. And when Jesus spoke, they listened because he knew so much. And when they spoke, Jesus listened to them because he wanted to learn more. And when Mary said that she had been worried, Jesus was surprised that she did not know where to find him, and said, "Did you not know I would be in my Father's house?" And so we add this to our story. And Jesus grew up to be a man. And when he was about 30 years old, he went to see his cousin John. Now John was a wild man. You can just see the back of his hair in this picture. And John was baptizing people in the River Jordan. And Jesus said to John, "Baptize me." But John said to Jesus, "You are the one we've been waiting for. You are the Messiah. I can't baptize you." But Jesus said, "You have come to prepare the way. Baptize me." So Jesus went down into the dark and the chaos of the water, and John lifted him back up out into the light. And some people there said they saw a dove from heaven resting on Jesus. And some heard a voice from heaven saying, "This is my beloved Son. I am pleased with him." Jesus crossed over the Jordan and went out into the desert. He was there for 40 days and 40 nights. There is not much food or water in the desert, and Jesus was hungry. He was tempted. And the voice said to him, "Turn these rocks into bread." But Jesus said, "No, we need more than bread to be truly alive. Then the voice whispered, "If you are the Son of God, throw yourself off the temple and the angels will catch you." But Jesus said, "No, we do not need to test God." And then the voice said, "Bow down and worship me, and I will make you king." And Jesus said, "No, we must only worship God. I am a king, but not that sort of king." And then Jesus knew what he should do and who he should be, and he crossed back over the Jordan to begin his work. And what was Jesus' work? Jesus' work was to come close to people that no one else wanted to be close to. Here, Jesus has come so close to this blind man that he has touched his eyes. And as Jesus got close to people, they changed. They could see things they hadn't seen before, do things they couldn't do before. And Jesus told them about God's love, told them about God's kingdom of love. And Jesus knew it was time for him to show people God's love for them. And so he turned towards Jerusalem. He rode into the city on a donkey, and the people pulled palm branches to wave and threw their cloaks on the floor in front of him. They expected him to overthrow the Romans. But Jesus went to the temple each day and taught them about God's love. And on Thursday, Jesus and his friends went to the upper room for their last meal together. And Jesus took the bread and he gave thanks to God for it, and he broke it and shared it with them. And he said something like this: "My body is going to be broken like this bread, and it will be broken for all people. And when you take bread and break it and share it together, I will be there." And at the end of the meal, Jesus took the cup of wine and he gave thanks to God for it. And then he said, "My blood is going to be poured out for all people. But when you share the cup of wine like this, I will be there." And the disciples, they didn't understand these words, but they remembered them. And later they would understand. And when that Last Supper was finished, Jesus went to the Gethsemane to pray in the garden. And Jesus was betrayed by his disciple Judas, who brought the guards to arrest him. That night was a confusing one. Jesus was taken. People told stories about him. And he was condemned, taken out of the city, and crucified. They put a crown of thorns on his head. And when Jesus died on that cross, the sky turned black, and the curtain that separated the Holy of Holies from the people was torn in two. And then Jesus' body was taken down from the cross, placed in a tomb, and a great stone rolled across to seal the entrance like a door. On Saturday, the earth was so still. Everything was sad. But on Sunday morning, the women had the courage to go to the tomb. They wanted to be with Jesus, even if it was sad. But they found that the tomb was empty. Jesus was not there. He had risen. And so this Easter, even though things are sad and dark, we still have the other side of Easter. And Jesus is still with us today, at all times, in the bread and the wine that we share. Jesus was with us, even in these dark and sad times. And so our story has been a line that we've laid out in front of us. But this picture here is not just an end, it is a new beginning. Easter is not just finished. Easter has just begun. And so, instead of having our pictures in a line with a beginning and an end, we can put them like this. The new beginning at the temple. Jesus' baptism, and Jesus in the desert. Jesus' work. And Jesus' last meal with his friends. And the sadness of Easter and the joy of Easter. Jesus risen and alive with us is at the centre of our story. A story that goes on and continues. So I wonder, what's your favourite part of this story? I wonder which part you think is most important. I wonder which part of this story is about you. Where are you in this story? I wonder this Easter where the sadness is. And I wonder where your joy is.